Science with Folly.
Kia ora, Folly fans. Welcome to Science with Folly. Today we're learning about alcohols. Now I'm not talking about this kind of alcohol. If you're under 18, this stuff's bad for you. It's a poison. It can make you sick. Alcohols that we're learning about today are a homologous series of organic compounds that contain this bad boy. It's a hydroxyl group. The general formula, CnH2n plus 1 OH. And if you know how to name other organic compounds, alcohols are going to be a piece of cake. 1, 2, 3, it's a propan, and the OH group is coming off number 1, so it's propan 1-ol. Down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pentan, and the OH group is coming off number 3, pentan 3-ol. We can also have primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols. If we look at this alcohol here, the carbon with the hydroxyl group on it has only got 1 carbon coming off it, so it's a primary alcohol. Down here, the carbon with the hydroxyl group has got 2 carbons coming off it, so it's a secondary alcohol. And finally, this carbon with the hydroxyl group has got 1, 2, 3 carbons coming off it, so it's a tertiary alcohol. And just to remember how we name it, 2-methyl propan 2-ol. Regarding melting and boiling points, alcohols are similar to other organic compounds. The longer the carbon chain, the higher the melting and boiling point. Also regarding solubility, polarity and solubility in water decreases as the carbon chain increases. That is because the hydroxyl group has less effect as the carbon chain increases. Let's start looking at some reactions of alcohols. Firstly, let's look at addition reactions. Here we have an alkene plus water in the presence of a catalyst, and it's normally a sulfuric acid. You get an alcohol. For example, here we have ethene plus water, our catalyst, and it forms ethanol. The double bond is broken and replaced by an H and an OH to form the alcohol. And when we have an addition reaction involving an asymmetrical alkene, Markovnikov's rule applies, and we end up with 2 possible products, a major and a minor product. Remember, the rich get richer makes the major product. Which of these 2 is the major? That's right, it's this one, because the carbon, which already has 2 hydrogens, gains the hydrogen. The rich get richer, and this would be the minor product. Another type of addition reaction is where an alkene reacts with water in the presence of an oxidant and it forms what's called a diol. It's an alcohol with 2 hydroxyl groups. So for example, here is ethene. It reacts with water and permanganate. Now this forms 2 hydroxide ions and they attach, breaking the double bond, forming a diol. And in this case, it's ethane 1,2-diol. Alcohols can also be formed in substitution reactions. When a haloalkane reacts with aqueous potassium hydroxide, it forms potassium halide plus an alcohol. Here's an example. What's the name of this haloalkane? I think you've got it. Bromoethane plus potassium hydroxide gives us potassium bromide. The bromide obviously joins up with the potassium and it forms ethanol as the alcohol that's produced. Alcohols can also react to form haloalkanes. For example, here we have ethanol. It reacts with hydrogen chloride, and that's aqueous, and it forms water, and what's the name of this one? Chloroethane. There's our reaction there. Another type of reactions that alcohols undergo are oxidation reactions, and primary alcohols oxidize to form what we call carboxylic acids. Here's an example here. We've got ethanol, and it gets oxidized to form ethanoic acid. Ethanoic acid. If this was butanol, what would the name of the acid formed be? Alcohols can also be halogenated by 3 different chemicals: phosphorus trichloride, phosphorus pentachloride, and thionyl chloride. And in this case, we've got methanol forming chloromethane. What happens is the hydroxyl group is replaced by a single chlorine. Alcohols can also undergo elimination reactions, and that's where an alkene is formed from an alcohol. For example, we've got ethanol, we've got concentrated sulfuric acid, which is a strong dehydrating agent, and then we've got ethene plus water. That's an elimination reaction. So that was a lot to learn about today, I know. But remember, alcohols have the hydroxyl group, and remember the reactions that they can undergo: addition, substitution, elimination, and oxidation. That's it, Folly fans. Ka kite anō.
Science with Folly. Science with Folly. Science with Folly.